Hello there everybody and welcome back to episode 19 of my tutorial series for Songs of SYX version 66. Today we're finally gonna conquer the world. I promised this to you, and today we shall deliver. So in the time between I was expanding the city only minimally. I must say this city is in the end something that will, how to put it, I didn't give my whole heart into its perfection. There are a few things, though, that I wanted to mention that were quite important. My warehouses were misconfigured to not gather the grain off of the fields, and that created a real severe shortage of bread for a while. It took me quite some time to find out what that was, so just want to point out that when your farms are expanding, keep an eye out on your warehouse gathering radius. It might be an issue, because now stuff is being transported back into the warehouses. Before, bakers were running out there, and instead of gathering it from a local warehouse, they had to run over to the farms, which diminished their efficiency by roughly 33%. So, just as a heads up. We're today going to start conquering, and therefore we're going to start employing administrators. The administrators will consume paper and produce administrational points out of that. That is what it is. We're going to gather ourselves now one last breath of money from our neighbors, because when we hire a mercenary army, this is costly. So better have some money on your hand. So what we are going to do, and this is what I did in the background between this and the previous episode quite a lot, I'm just emptying my warehouses quite generously off of the things that I produce locally, and then I just demand back in return. Well, maybe not the furniture because that is hard to come by. And then I demand back in return the same amount of money down here in denarii, and this way you can easily get yourself quite a nice amount of money. Would be really nice to have some decimal points in between there, I must say, though, but those are the little things. So that trade is big enough to increase the our wallet by quite a substantial amount, and now all that's left to do is set out and conquer the world, sort of. So we see around here that there are these freelance cities. These are the ones that you can't conquer. Don't attack the ones that have a factional icon on themselves. For one, you would piss off your potential trade partners in the future, and the other thing is you also break off a full-scale war with these and they will retaliate and whatnot. You should have armies and all these things set up and running before you go against another faction. So we're going to head on over to conquer Jansto today, the beautiful city of the Tilapi. So, first off, we're going to recruit an army. We're working with mercenaries, and I highly recommend you to do so for your first conquest. Of course, you could have your city troops and join them there. 100 troops, well geared out, should do the trick. I mean, we've been through all the metrics, and if you check on out these Tilapi girls, they aren't that extremely well geared out. They have shields, a lot of armor, and swords. You can pull that off for yourself, and they are only 90. So if you would deploy 100 people, gear them out well, I'm pretty sure you could get yourself something much better quite easily. I just want to point out, mercenaries are a quick fix and get the job done quite quickly, though. The problem about them is that they have a daily upkeep of 77,000 denarii. This is an obscene amount of money, and you see the price tags on mercenaries are all that steep. But the alternative would be to recruit them by yourself, which isn't that easy either. Now, you left-click the banner you want there, and then you just left-click the city that you want to attack, and off they go. I go fast forwarding here now, and watch my treasury bleed every now and then. It's horrible. So, once we have arrived at Jansto, here goes the siege. The first thing that you shall do is wait. Don't go for an all-out assault. You would be, well, alright. That is new. Back in the day, we were, let me check that. Yeah, okay, we obviously can attack them just like that. Because a trespassing army is attacking with us. Alright, that is truly odd and not the norm. But, well, your regular course of action would be that you wait until the mouse over button here tells you exactly this. The result will be victory with a relatively low amount of losses. Don't go for it if there is not this one. So this is something really odd. We have no relations, the Namashalians and us, or do we? No. Looks like we just came in time to pick the cherry off of their cake. It's this is a bug. This is not intended gameplay, by the way. This is, or I don't know. I think this should go into the Discord server of the Songs of Six community, but whatever. The gist of it is the same. Before you can attack, wait to decrease the enemy's fortifications, depicted here, and this will eventually deplete completely. This is also the reason why you should have enough money to pay your mercenaries for a couple of days. Here we just went in lucky because why not? It's a tutorial series, I take that. This is okay, because we want to show the how and not so much get it to whatever. You know what I mean. After winning, we get now to select either if we want to capture the prisoners, and as you see there, there's quite a lot of people that we could now gather as slaves. If you would want to have in your city quite a lot of slaves, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. You can also just execute them all because you don't have any usage for them, or you release them. There is now a new metric called chivalry, and well, basically it gives you good relations in points of diplomacy, so if you don't have any use for the prisoners, releasing them is always a nice bonus. Now we get to select what we're doing with the loot. We can either sack the place, which is a moderate plundering, raise the place, which is very heavy plundering, and you see it goes very negative into a chivalry calculations, or we go into all-out mercy. Neither plunder, nor slavery, nor anything, but the people will really like us. So that is what we want to do. So, occupation will bring full control. Abandoning will just, that would be what you do to, how to put it, to take control over the place. And puppet regime is creating a new faction out of this place that you can interact with, which is a pretty funny thing because it gives you then a new diplomacy partner. So we could use that if we'd wanted to. Either way, we are going to occupy these guys merciful, because this is ideal for our further course of action. So yeah, it is really odd what happened there. Never happened to me before. So yeah, we would have been probably not even able to do this with this army of only 90. No, they have 130 fighting power. Never mind. Maybe I was wrong all the place. Well, let me know if you know. So we could now go and siege down Verzalek as well with our mercenaries. As you see here, I just want to give you a idea. So this would still work, but what we are going to do here, because we don't want to overdo it, we're going to disband our Talabi girls and be good with it because we captured Jansto. That's what we've gone after. So now we can finally put control over this area and play around with it. The administration of Ors does now create administration points. So first off, let's make sure that our paper production is net positive. It is. So administrators produce way less administration points without paper. Also, humans excel at this. They are just very good at bureaucracy or world domination. You could see it either way. Now, this is the amount of points that we will be working with, and let's head back over here. So, Jansto, this is the region. We see here the stats of the region in terms of health, how far it is away from our place, how loyal or how loyal these people are. Right now they really can't stand us. I mean, no wonder, we just came there and smashed everything to pieces. So, devastation from military actions. So this is basically your punishment for taking too much of them. Organization. The larger your empire grows, the more diminishing returns you get due to spread of misorganization. And workforce. This is what we use to cultivate the place. We also have here a amount of conscripts available, so you can see we even have a decent amount of future soldiers that can be then staffed out with your army supply depots. So in the future, we can just produce the stuff, like the weaponry and the armor, put it into army supply depots, and then we are able to recruit our armies out of this screen, where we can then, there you see it, use the conscripts and train them up and everything. We are currently, though, after setting up this whole place for itself. We have a religion overview, and here we have the overview about the total population and how it's set together. We see that we have a mixture of Tilapi and Cretonians here. We can here see their loyalty, because that might be different, and here we can configure how they should be treated. We can even exile or do other less nice things with them. Taxes. Henceforth, we gain taxes. The higher the taxes, the lower the loyalty, and the lower the taxes, the higher the loyalty. And now we get to build here. Welcome to the 4X part of Songs of SYX. The first thing that we do is we build a city hall. This costs us a very moderate amount of denarii and adds in workforce into the region and capacity, which is population capacity, and it lowers our organization just a smidge. As you see there, we start to suffer costs, but that is okay. Now we got the town center and 6 units of workforce. These can now be used to be for construction of all manner of different things. Up here we have pretty much services and infrastructure, increase of population, increase of hygiene, all manner of different things. What's important about all of these effects is all of them, every single one of them, costs you workforce and or administrational points. So basically workforce is an ingredient everywhere. But the cool part is now, for example, we can now build a mushroom farm. Costs us a portion of the workforce that we got and a low amount of denarii, but after building this, we have now a mushroom income. Let me show you. So when we mouse over the mushrooms now, we see that we will gain mushrooms out of taxation. So the guys over there are now producing for us. This is the part that I really love. So we got to set up a couple of crates for that, and this way we can now outsource all manner of different productions that we cannot get done at home. To increase our workforce, we need to upgrade our town center. It is worth noting that all of these buildings, you see the Roman number 1 over it, are upgradable. You see, the mushroom farm has 6 upgrades, and the town center even 7. So the requirement for another upgrade is a total population of 300 in here, so we can't wait for that. We see here the target population, so there's no problem whatsoever to expand here. Now, let's see. If you want to upgrade, you click it there, and we now see we suffer from a lack of administration. What a pity. So we now have to wait until the administration points are set up together. We cannot see our current administrational points over here though, so they are hidden in here. So let's fast forward until we hit the mark of 20 administration points. There we go. Now we are eligible to upgrade our town center, just like that. Accept that, and as you see here, we gain +8 workforce. There we go. And Jansto is henceforth binding 20 points of our administrational power. This is the same as with Research. You shall never ever unemploy your administrators, okay? This is never a good thing when you have a drop of administrational power happening. Not acceptable. Because the results of that would be obviously that the people would stop serving your empire, and, well, I think we all agree that this is the last thing that we want to have. With the new workforce, you can now do all manner of different things. The expansionary part of the game now allows you to go for any type of production that you want. I just want to point out the red arrows here mean that the species that are living there are bad, or there is no high density of material there. The interesting part though is that even like for example, a bad production of ore is better than no production of ore. So you might consider doing this, as at the end of the day, every one of these buildings, well, you should produce something with them that you actually need. What's important to not deadlock yourself, though, is that you always need to keep an eye out on the upgrades for the next town hall, because this is your primary increase of workforce. So to increase the population limit, for example, here we need a population of 600 in the total, and our current limit is 400. Most of the time, to get that done, you need some workforce. So it sucks when you have bound all your workforce while needing more population capacity to upgrade your town center furthermore. For example, here, we really need to work a little bit harder than that because we need 600 people. We can also help ourselves out with the tech tree. We need to unlock the next organization tech there to unlock the small town, but we also have the ability to raise our organization, which is mostly needed for the sake of spreading your empire further. So pretty much of a late game stuff. It is pretty costly in itself, of course, and as you see here, it's quite stackable. Important to note, you need paved roads and sculpting to get this ball rolling, so these technologies should be present before you start out with all that. The interesting parts here now are that we can unlock better building upgrades here via technologies. As you see, we can unlock various really cool buildings. The tax office is really cool as it imposes no downside, but here the workers office is the one that we really want to go towards to in the future. Let me show you because we can't already access it here. We need to research it. It will cost us quite some administrational force, but this is only something again for the later stages because it increases global workforce. Short-term gain of workforce will, I haven't found too many sources of it. The other bonuses here are mostly loyalty and such. Therefore, it is really important that we work on always fulfilling the necessary next stepping stone in terms of expansion for the population. So as far as I know, hygiene and growth are the best ways to go there, and therefore, well, I even think, let's see, population capacity +5. Well, we need to take that, and yeah. What I want to get down to with my rambling is always keep an eye out on getting your city, keeping your city expandable. But it is really important to note there is an ultimate limit to these. The population mark here is also multiplied by area. So no matter how much stuff we pour into here, there is always a hard limit on how large the region is, and that at the end is just a good reason to grab the next one. So with this system, we can now start doing wonderful things and expand our city accordingly. And here we can also, let me see, here. You can also remove buildings if you ever have deadlocked yourself. Don't go for it that one though, as it will remove all buildings. That would be not good. So for here, for example, shouldn't I have to unlock that via technology? Give me a sec. I think I just spotted a bug because we shouldn't be able to build these as of yet, as at least at the if you ask the technology tree. But whatever, you get the idea how things work here. So we can easily just swap these buildings in and out. And what I want to say here as well is that these buildings, they don't need any time to be built. That is another really interesting thing. As you see, we have now lost our mushroom tribute, but the city is definitely growing to the next level. So you get to decide for yourself how you want to spread that. There is also the option to spec your mini empires into all manner of different things. And this is how I personally think you should see these. There is not enough room and not enough workforce to get everything done. But you can, for example, just decide to make this place provide mushrooms for your empire and focus it as good as you can. Or you focus on whatever you want to. There is also the option to focus them on military things with this roster here. Also very, very important to note. And yeah, so all in all, I think this sums it up. And I really don't know what I should explain about this system any further. So let me know if you have any further questions in this field, because I think it is all quite nice and self-explanatory, and I hope I have covered all the parts that you were wondering about. You can now see that we are gaining really a nice amount of tax out of that, and it's a pretty cool extra income on the side, and you should take that absolutely as an excuse to either recruit now a conscript force, gear them out with more weapons, and start conquering the world. This is absolutely a thing that you should do. Also, we can now go and try to go for more diplomacy. No, we can only declare war. I don't know. We obviously are not really bordering them in a way that we can do diplomacy with them anyways. What's left to do? There's not much more to explain about Songs of Six. I know I have explained a lot, and we haven't seen it all. There's still universities and temples and a few other things up ahead, but I don't know of any mechanics that I need to explain behind that. So I leave this series at this point for now. I'm well aware of the fact that I left out the combat on the field entirely out of the series. That comes with a good reason, because currently I don't see any reason to do it, and the very few times I tried it, I found the gameplay very wonky, hard to describe, hard to master, and it felt like just blobbing up your troops and sending them to the enemy was all I could do. So I read in the preview of the game's development, though, that the combat is supposed to be reworked eventually in a bigger picture. I think it was version 67 or 68 that this was supposed to happen. Anyway, before the full release. So my plan was to touch that once the developer has made up his mind for the finalized version, because as you saw it there, you can avoid it entirely to feel soldiers on the map and in a grand total. By now, if ever your hometown gets attacked, you can just set up an army of yours and have it guard your city, and then the battle will be dragged out on the fields. So that's that. Anyways, Comment section down below. Let me know what kind of topics you want to have covered in future episodes. I am only done in a way that I don't know what to talk about anymore. But if you guys give me a few good ideas, what you want to see in the series, and be it even that you really want to see the university part and all because you have trouble figuring it out for yourself, let me know, because I think it would be quite good, but I don't know what to explain else, because for me, mechanics wise, everything should be clear at that point. But yeah, it would be easy to miss something, I guess. For all of you who've been around with this series from beginning to the end, I want to say a big thank you for watching. I mean, I make it sound like it is the end of the series. Maybe there will be another episode sometime in the future, I don't know. Either way, I'll just want to spell out my gratitude for hanging out with me. Like, what was it? Like 10 hours at least? That's pretty awesome. So, enjoy Songs of Six. Drop me your comments down below. Like I said, leave a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and you find the playlist link in the description box down below if you have just checked in for the Empire part of the game and you haven't seen the rest of the series. I also have a playlist for smaller tutorials there, so knock yourself out, check out my Discord or Twitch where I stream, and feel free to support Icon Gaming financially. I'd be very, very delighted if you decided to do so, and a big, big thanks to all of you who do. You are truly, truly amazing. And you know who's also amazing? People who watch videos up until the very end, especially mine. So take this as something you didn't know yet, or you already knew. Thanks for being around, and see you all next time.